Hi, I'm Lise Colucci, and I'm one of the life coaches at queenbeing.com, where we help you to discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. And hello, and welcome, and good morning, and happy Friday to everyone. Want to start with saying if you want text notifications of going live, you can text me at 33222, put the word Lise Live, Liselive, and hit send, and I will text you about 10 minutes prior to going live. And then you won't miss any live streams. And hello, everyone. Hello, Frankendoll and James. And today we're going to talk about emotional numbness and some ideas for how to help when you feel emotionally numb. Hi, Jonna and Suzanne and Jack and Kimberly. Hello, hello. Okay. If you need any help with narcissistic abuse recovery, head over to queenbeing.com. Lots of info over there. Make sure if you need any coaching help, you can find the links in the main description of every video. And it's also over at queenbeing.com. And that's it. So let's get started with talking about emotional numbness. Jonna, Bobana, Banana. Yeah. Playing the name game. Hi, Joe. Okay. So what's emotional numbness? Why do we numb up emotionally? You know, most of us have felt it at some point or are feeling it right now. So in order to protect yourself from further emotional pain, you kind of shut down emotionally. You know, it's a defense mechanism to deal with stress and overwhelm, to cope with the life as it is when you have toxic people around you, when you have abuse, when you have trauma. You didn't think I'd read that. I kind of just skim and read whatever catches my eye. James, so it's a way to mess with me, right? Trip me up. Anyway, yes, Joe is saying when we get emotional, overwhelmed by stress, we go through feelings of emotional numbness. Going through this now, although I'm out of the abuse. Exactly. It doesn't stop necessarily because you're not in the abuse. It's a defense mechanism. It's a setup, but also we just get totally exhausted after abuse and emotionally just worn out. You can get kind of stuck feeling that emotional numbness. Now, one thing to make sure of is that you don't have clinical depression. So going to see a therapist, talking to someone and doing a test to check where you're at on the scale of depression is important. Go see your doctor, if nothing else, and just talk to them about depression. Understand that it's also a symptom of depression. So, but doesn't necessarily mean, well, it's a tough situation when you've had your emotional life be turned upside down and twisted and confused, and you've had to numb up in order to cope. So there's that. And then there's also other reasons that this could be going on. So make sure that you are taking care of yourself and getting adequate care if that's what you need. Other than that, let's go on with what we can do here. So Joe's saying the intense reaction also pops up in other stressful situations after the narcissist situation. Yes, anytime you're triggered, anytime you're stressed out, it becomes a coping skill, right? To just numb up. Some of us never leave that place. We don't re-engage in life because we're afraid, because this is easier. We don't want it, or we don't know better. Maybe we've never really been in touch with our feelings, so to speak, right? And it's scary to leave numb. What do you mean? Yes, it's like waking the tiger. She said it, tiger. Trauma reaction. Yep. Okay. So, and it's only funny if you know what I'm talking about, but whatever. A few of you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Let's see. All right. So let's go on. So that's what it is. If you're feeling it, you know what it is. So let's go some symptoms, some signs. You can't express your feelings. You don't know what it is. You don't have again, my curls are in my mouth. Okay. We're just going to leave it there. I just made it worse. Okay. I've got like 3 pieces that want to just jump onto my face. Okay. It tickles. So Jack is saying because we're given all and it was crushed. So we pull back only to have enough energy for ourselves, if even that, right? Only to have enough energy to get through a day. Hi, Belle. Hope all everyone is well. Numb. I believe I'm numb because I am in the state of complete disbelief at the level of his abuse. Also, certain things are mandated to be reported, so you can't always be honest. And you, my friend, are in the situation where this is a coping skill for you because you're still dealing with the toxicity. So, it makes sense, right? If you've already, well, one way to get away from this, one way to re-engage with your feelings or to have connection with your feelings is to get away from the toxicity, right? And so since you can't right now, it may be that you go through the numbness and hopefully find ways to not feel so numb in parts of your life that are okay for you and safe for you to feel, right? James is telling everyone to go hit the thumbs up at the top of this video. Thank you, James. All right. Did I say something wrong? I shared a link. Wasn't allowed to do this. Sorry. I didn't see a link. I didn't see it come through and I don't have anything blocked. So I don't know. Maybe it didn't let you. I have no idea. I don't know. YouTube baffles me. Link to the book, Waking the Tiger by Peter Levine. Nope, I didn't see a link. It just said Waking the Tiger. Didn't have a link. I don't know. So it's a good book, though. You didn't delete it either? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so let's keep going. Emotional numbness can feel like you cannot express strong feelings, strong emotions. Maybe you can express little ones, but you can't. Even you have huge emotional, you should, or you think you should have a huge emotional response to something, and it's either not there or you can't express it. You're just kind of stunned and unable to express what it is you're feeling. You can't connect with the feelings that you're having and actually able to verbalize what they are. You're feeling something, but you can't. It's like a disconnect between what you're feeling and being able to understand it or articulate it or speak about it or even have words around what it is you're feeling. It feels like you can't fully participate in life, like you are sort of just there and you're just going through the motions. It can feel dreamlike and kind of surreal and detached from reality in a way. You're awake and you're doing stuff, but it has this weird quality of kind of dreaminess. You can feel like you're living on autopilot, kind of what I said earlier. You can have this feeling of like a lack of drive or interest in things that you would normally or should, so to speak, or other people might find enjoyable. So things that sort of ought to be fun, or they would be fun, or you in your mind you think, oh, that would be fun, but it just doesn't feel like anything when you're doing it, or there's no drive to actually go do it. Feelings of separation and distance from others, sort of like you're there with them and you're trying to engage and you maybe even want to connect with people, but you just feel distant and unable to really connect with people. Withdrawing from others, that's a more extreme version of that, right? Let's see. Emotions felt only as body sensations. So you might have a stomach ache and you don't know why over and over again. And then you realize maybe if you really think about it, oh, I've been pretty stressed. But you're not really connecting the two. So you're really just feeling your emotions sort of as like in a body aware way, and that's it. But you're not really connecting it with an emotion. Grace is saying, I believe I spent my whole life being numb and making myself numb. Yes. Let me tell you what happens when you start to wake up and the big feelings come. People freak out because they think, now I'm crying all the time. This is worse. No, it's not. It means you're feeling, because are you also feeling joy? Most likely you are. You're just feeling. And it can feel really weird when you start kicking over into feeling for the first time, Grace. It's interesting. It's an interesting thing. I totally get that and have lived through that. So I understand. Finding now that I want to feel and not be numb, as it's hard to have relationships that way. It's hard to have a relationship with yourself that way. That's what I noticed. It's hard to really truly relate to yourself and how you experience the world and how you experience others, how you experience your life when you're numb, when you're emotionally, locked inside and you're numb and fearful. So freezing and not being able to choose what to do when you're totally overwhelmed by the amount of things you have to do. Yes, the freezing. I have that here somewhere, but we'll use yours because you worded it better. Freezing. Yeah. Being frozen, not able to even speak about what it is, not even able to engage with it, just frozen. Feel stuck. Feel stuck, right? And especially like Grace is saying, I want to change this. I want to be able to experience the emotional side of my life. But you might feel totally stuck and numb and unable to break through that numbness. I'm pretty sure my numbness contributed to the multiple assaults and bad boyfriends I had. Well, yeah, because we can cope. When you're numb, you can take a heck of a lot. You don't have the sensitivity. You may be sensitive. You may be a sensitive, extremely feeling people. You can be an extremely empathic and feeling person and still feel emotional numbness, right? It's a weird paradox, but it's true. Body feels can be so unsettling. Good feels make painful parts of recovery worth it. They can. Some people can't even identify with the good, and this is what hopefully you can work on your own toward, is feeling the good. So a feeling of flatness or a feeling of emptiness is another sign or another thing you might experience with emotional numbness. Losing access to your own feelings. We talked about that. Difficulty expressing positive feelings. So it's not just the negative you can't feel, it's the positive too. You just feel flat. You just feel like you might be having an experience that would have been fun. Oh God, sorry, I have got like hair, just, I don't know what is with it today. It's tickling. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's keep going. So what did I say here? Some things you might notice yourself doing when you're emotionally numb. Let's talk about that. How do you numb up? What do you do to numb up and keep yourself in that state? Jack is saying it's easier, so feels fine being numb, but then there's richness lost. That enthusiasm we had, everyone commented about us. Right. Weed, right? Curly hair problems. I know. Not contacting people. Hi, glitter girl. You were having such a bad emotional dysregulated that I went back on my antidepressants, and that, it's necessary sometimes, right? It totally is. And for some people, for a lot of people, that can be what's needed in order to sort of jumpstart healing, right? Is to figure out, is there something going on brain chemistry wise that can help you and can give you support that you need through medication? It's not a bad thing. A lot of people use it and need it, but then you got to do the work, right? So it's not just use the medication and think, okay, now I'm okay. Then we do the work on recovering or gaining for the first time, as Grace was saying, the ability to have an emotionally rich life, because that's what we want, right? Not choosing a life path is also a way I've numbed out. Just sort of checking out, right? Checking out from, it's not responsibility, it's direction, finding direction. Just a thought, I did the most masterful gray rock ever earlier. Thank you all. I want to say that too. I am angry and sad that narcs have the freedom to hurt and such caring people. Yes, and agreed. I'm glad you did that instead of trying to deal yourself. Great job. I know it's great. Sometimes it's necessary, and it's totally, that is important. I'm glad you brought it up because, as I said in the beginning, if you, first of all, go to find out if this is like a clinical depression where you may actually need some help. So some pharmaceutical help if that's necessary for you. I don't know. I can't diagnose that, but if it is, go get it, because that will help you to do the work. If you're clinically depressed and you have you're just not able to cope, then it's really difficult to make the next step, right? Okay. Antidepressants help, but not permanently. Have to sort the stuff out. That's right. Let's see. Jack is saying I'm actually reshaping my world in work and socializing to accommodate my numb ways now. Oh, that's interesting, right? We'd start to make accommodations in our life and our world in order to support the numbed out way of living. Was numb in court yesterday. How did that go, Frankendoll? But today I'm catching myself crying a lot. Why? Because you need to catch up, right? You need to express what you felt. You were probably afraid and uncomfortable, and it was not pleasant. You numbed out you numbed up to get through the day, and that's coping. It's what we do. But then now you've got to, I swear, you guys, I'm gonna just, all right. Okay. So court is stressful. Court is stressful regardless of why you're there, right? So, but it's over. Well, that's okay. That's appropriate. It's over. And now you process. Just because something's over doesn't mean that the emotions have caught up with the experience. We got to process those emotions. It's why feeling is important. It's why feeling is the direction of healing. Because if you don't process it, it just stays inside. Our psyche is kind of complex. It's not just, info in, info out kind of thing. It's not, there's levels and layers of all of this stuff that go deep in the psyche, and you've got to put it in a ponytail, pull it back. No, because you see I look terrible in a ponytail, but that's okay. Who cares what I look like? It's just YouTube. Yeah. It's okay. I'll just deal. Just having a weird day. All right. It went well. He pleaded guilty, but agreed to knock down the felony, strangulation to misdemeanor, but all the other. Well, okay. Imagine your friend just went and faced her abuser in a courtroom setting. Imagine you had a friend that just went and faced her abuser in a courtroom setting. Her abuser had strangled her. And she was there fighting to get, her rights and find some justice in this situation. How do you think she'd feel the next day? She'd probably kind of relieved and finally able to grieve and let go, right? Finally able to release. And that's what crying is. So you're okay. It's normal to cry the day after. Just give yourself a day to recover. Give yourself a self-care day. Hey, Mo Cowboy. Sometimes that's when you get your own back. You have your own back. You be your own friend, and you take care of yourself on that day when you're just feeling like, don't get hard on yourself for crying. Get kind to yourself because you need the support. Okay. The feelings are going to come. You may hold it a while. You need to, like the court, it's completely normal for the emotions to come out later. Right. Belle says antidepressants, we've tried every combo since 18, very negative, dangerous effect on me. I wish there were other options. Exploring alternative treatments. Good luck, and there are, and getting away from toxicity is one, right? Okay. Doing the deep dive. Yes, do the deep dive. That's hard to say. Keep digging. I like the alliteration. Thank you. Everybody, let's just speak in alliteration. All right. Eventually you strike gold, understanding and wisdom. Once the truth is uncovered, life starts to get a little easier step by step. That's right. Okay. Good. Use that appointment and get it out, Frankendoll. I'm proud of you. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Keep going. So other ways you numb up. Let's talk about that. Ways that we numb out. Not making eye contact with people. That's either a sign of or a way to not connect, right? Not engaging and keeping distance from people. Not engaging with authenticity, right? Keeping present. Smiling all the time and just staying distant and keeping that smile between you and what you're really feeling, right? Having a flat expression, not going out and engaging with any emphasis of, being there with people. So you're not fully engaging. Um, staying busy, says Life's Revival. Over busyness, overbooking yourself, right? Let's see. Some signs that you are emotionally numb might be like speaking in a flat, dull tone. Sort of spacing out and staring, not hearing when people are speaking to you, lots of like, huh, what'd you say? That might be a sign that you're sort of checked out. You will flourish and you can begin to buy all the self-care you're doing, Belle. It really helps to know you're there for yourself even through this, and to know that when you get out, you'll be there for yourself. So sleeping too much, not sleeping, eating too much, not eating, eating the wrong things, alcohol, drugs, what did I say here? What did I write? Hyperfocusing in an overthinking way is a kind of a way of numbing out, because you're just spinning out into one emotion that you're kind of latching onto and not feeling what is actually going on in the moment. What does that say? Okay. Anything else? Hey, Katie. Lisa, I've been noticing I have a hard time following conversations. I think it's subconscious way of numbing out. Yes, right? It's like dissociation. Well, dissociation is numbing out, right? And you're not being present to what you're actually feeling when you're kind of numb. And so with all of that said, we can kind of find ways, just from what we talked about here, to help with this. Just from looking at each of these things that happen and how to counter it and how to re-engage, or to engage for the first time at all. Hyper focusing and overthinking, that's me. Right? And you're right. The brain fog, I mean, the emotional numbness is a symptom of CPTSD, right? So the brain fog is part of it. It's just a little slice of what we're looking at when we're talking about CPTSD in general, and just picking one little fragment of it and trying to find ways to wake up the emotions, wake up your awareness to yourself. Okay, if that's what you want to do. If you want to stay numb, go for it. But if you don't, then it takes work. Okay. Emotional numbness doesn't generally just go away. It's not like you have a really good experience. I mean, you could have the best experience in the world and feel flat when you're emotionally numb. That's the problem, right? It's really hard to get out of without putting in some effort on your own to get yourself out of it. So a lot of people just can't connect with what it is they're feeling. A lot of people just can't, they don't know. There's no awareness of what they're feeling anymore. They just are there and they don't have. So you can actually pay attention by asking yourself, what am I feeling right now? Just stop and ask anytime, set an alarm, whatever, set some alarms during the day and ask, what am I feeling right now? It can be anything and it doesn't matter what it is. Just notice it. Zombified. Yes. Okay. Just notice what you're feeling. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What's going on? Just ask. And if you get frustrated, then there's the answer. I feel frustrated. If it's, I don't know, I feel confused, right? Give it a name. Give the feeling a name. Look at something and say, what do I feel about that? How do I feel about this? Ask yourself questions. What do I feel about this experience at court? What do I feel about, what is it? Just name it. See where your body is telling you about it. What clues is your body giving you that you're having an emotion? I feel tightness in my chest. I feel light in my step. I feel whatever. I feel dizzy. There's all kinds of feelings. Our body is cluing us into our emotional life, right? And it is responding to our emotional life. So pay attention to it. That's one way to wake up from the numbness, is you got to start asking. Feel drained. There you go. And it's not that you want to go around complaining, right? Oh, I feel this, I feel that, or believing that your feelings are all there is, or thinking that so problem is when you're in a traumatic situation, when you have repeated narcissistic abuse type of trauma, where there is a cycle of abuse that is wearing your emotions down and is actually feeding off of your emotions, right? As the narcissists do. You're what was my point? You are lost the point. that had to do with something somebody said. Drained. Ask yourself what you're feeling. Well, number one, you start disbelieving what you feel, because we're told by toxic people that are feeling we're too sensitive, or we're not feeling what we're feeling, we're being gaslighted. So the confusion is all there, and if you start naming it and you start saying, oh, I feel this and I feel that, then you can actually acknowledge and validate what you're feeling. It's not that we need to say I'm feeling drained and then hyper focus on feeling drained and drag ourselves into the ground with the negative feelings. It's more just have an awareness and let it go. Have an awareness and let it go. It's not that, like, I'm not saying figure out what you're feeling and then hold it for dear life, that you gotta, I found a feeling, and then, unfortunately, it'll probably be the negative ones that come up first, right? Because they're easier and they're right there. How long did I numb out? I still numb out. I numb out all the time. I just do these things to come back. Most of my life numbed out. So I have noticed now that I can't do it as effectively. I don't numb as effectively anymore, which is a good thing. But in other words, I'm aware of what's happening, and I'm aware that the feelings are present, even if I'm not fully feeling them. And then I try to re-engage with my life. I mean, we have this life, right? I want to engage with it. I don't want this to be numb. I want it to wake up, and I want to be able to not, I don't know about you, but I want to be able to not have a negative feeling, like feeling drained, and have that take over my whole day. Because there's a million other things to feel as well. And our emotional lives are complex and rich, and we lose so much with this numbing. Yeah. Okay. I was, as a lot weren't allowed to feel feelings while growing up. Right. So we don't connect to them, running on autopilot. Right. We don't even really know what they are. That's why I'm starting with identify what it is. If you can't, it's okay. Just, again, if you can't, most likely you're feeling something about the fact that you can't. And there's one feeling right there, right? There's always, the feelings are there. If you can't find it in your body, and you can't find it in your thoughts, find it in your body. Like, what is my body feeling right now? That there's something, and go with that. Start there. So let's keep going. If you have ever experienced emotional vibrance in your life, even if for a moment, remember that moment. Recall what it felt like. Get in touch with it. Even if it's just in thoughts. Even if you can't get in touch with it by feeling it again, think about it. Oh, the time whatever, something, anything that you felt emotional vibrance over, even if afterwards you had a negative experience, don't go to the negative experience. Go to the fact that you were able to feel in that moment. And just remember, anytime you felt any emotional vibrance, even if it's negative, you can remember, you know what, I was able to feel that. And I was able to identify that felt bad. We're not trying to go there and like hang on to that. It's more just having an awareness that you can do it. Almost afraid to feel or even ask. What is that fear about? This is, okay, so number 2 thing, let's go. I have it down farther in the list, but I'm going to put it up top of the list here. Find a therapist, talk to a coach, one of the two. Because talking it through with someone who's just got your back can be useful. Can be useful to just talk it through. Having someone help you, with how to question yourself can also, in a positive way, can help. So talking to a therapist, talking to a coach that is specific to narcissistic abuse, I would say, yeah, can help you have the support that you need. So get support. And if you can't do those things, really good friends, really trusted family members, really trusted friends, people who aren't going to negate you, aren't going to invalidate you. All right. Okay. What are we saying here? You guys have lots of words. I'm going to go back up. Bella's saying, I have a great list of maybe 100 descriptive terms to help define your emotions, called emotional literacy. Yes, that is on here too. So thank you. I remember being in the field and the numb hit. My legs wouldn't listen to my brain. And it was like I was never going to get my body back into the house. That was before going no contact. Yeah, right? That's like extreme physical reaction to the anxiety and the feeling of nothing, right? Okay. Emotional literacy is helping me so much. The feeling wheel helps me name them and track where I've been. Emotional literacy can help so many. Yes, it can. Just understanding what it is, that putting a name to the feeling, right? Okay. I want to feel joy. I haven't felt it so long. I'm hoping the holidays with no crazy raging narc helps. You can find joy today. I'm going to challenge you to find joy today. Teeny piece of joy today. Okay. Go on a walk. If it's not freezing cold and terrible and, whatever, even if it is, maybe a really short walk. I don't know. Bundle up. Go on a walk and look for something beautiful. It can be anything, and appreciate it. Acknowledge it. Listen to music. Put headphones on while you're on a walk, so you're double getting both the stimulation and the responsiveness to the music you're hearing and what you're looking at, and try and be present to the moment when you find that thing that is nice for you. It doesn't have to be like the most exciting thing. Joy doesn't have to be big. It can be teeny tiny. Okay, to me, that's how I inch into things. Is like, oh, I felt a little bit of good. I liked that. I felt myself like that. That's cool. Okay. So you see what I'm saying? Find something. Taste something you enjoy. Use your senses is what I'm getting at. Use your senses to access joy. We are living in these bodies. We're sensual beings inside of bodies that have senses, right? Oh, the dogs are so going to play right now, you guys. Not now. They want to enjoy their dog bodies and run around and play. Anyway, find noticing the joy. What happens is we numb out, we block our access to noticing what's actually happening. My guess is you have felt joy, felt it, and not paid attention to it. Teeny pieces of it. Okay. That's what I noticed anyway. I thought, oh my gosh, I've always had that. I just didn't notice it. I didn't pay attention. So noticing what you feel. And one way to get there is mindfulness. Mindfulness practices are not just to calm down. Okay. They're to be present to your life. So I have some mindfulness meditations on this channel. They're all over the place. There's like 3 on here. Use them. They're 10 minutes. They're not hard. They're short. And it's not just to calm down. It's to learn to be present to the present moment, to be mindful, to be full of presence in this moment. Like I could, being able to name what you're feeling when you're feeling it. That's kind of part of it. Right? Okay. So that's my challenge for you. Go seek it. Find that joy. Little tiny piece and let us know. Let us know. Even if you're crying, here's the thing. We are complex, beautiful human beings with empathy. Okay. We can experience joy and sadness at the same time. That's the vibrancy of that I'm talking about. It's not that when I say when you felt emotional vibrance, I don't mean elation and absolute, like all I want is joy and that's it. Yeah, heck yeah, I want to live in bliss, don't you? But the reality is we have complexity of emotions going on all at the same time. So yours right now you're feeling the big heavy stuff from the release from court, you can have that too and enjoy a flower and enjoy a song, right? And that is sort of embodying the joy that you feel, right? And acknowledging it. Okay, enough of that. I could go on forever about joy. I love joy. It's a good one. All right. Practicing a collection of vibrant moments visualized as shines in a jar. Shinies in a jar. I like that. If you can visualize, go for it. The thing for me now, Jack is saying, I don't want to bring attention to myself now. So I save the exuberant feeling for myself and I no longer share it. What's that? Why don't you want to share it? Why do you want it? I mean, maybe you need it all for yourself right now. That's okay. Maybe you're afraid to connect. And so maybe then for you, the next step is finding safe people to connect with and finding safe moments to make connections, right? And to allow and to trust that they can't take your feet. They can't take your joy. They can't take your exuberance. That's yours. And I went to see my favorite singer the other night. That was joy. I was so excited because he was standing there like doing the greeting people at the merch counter, like while they're selling t-shirts and whatever. I couldn't contain my exuberance. I'm not a super fan geek girl. I like famous people and whatever. It doesn't, like they're just people, whatever. They got problems. They're probably all messed up and crazy. That's what I'm thinking in my head. But this man's voice, he's just like, it does me in. He's got this amazing voice and his philosophies and whatever. He's pretty amazing. So I didn't care who saw my exuberance or what, just like, who cares, right? If you can get there, it's so good. And part of it was, I didn't care if I shared it. No one could take it. It was just there. No one could take it. Even if someone said, calm down, Lise, I'd say, no, I don't want to right now. I want to do what I'm going to do. So yeah, there you go. Are the frogs at the door? No, they're not. They're just wanting to play. What are we doing here? Okay. It was really fun. Okay. Who is it? Oh, Sean James. Go listen. Seriously, listen to his voice. Just the voice. Even if you don't like Delta Blues, the voice. Yeah. SHAWN, not SEAN. James. All right. Having wine for my joy and maybe cheese. So, okay, let's keep going. Emotional numbness. Gratitude. Finding gratitude helps because it just does. Finding gratitude is so gratitude and generosity together are amazing ways to access feelings. It forces you to come into a thinking about what it is you feel something for. Even if the gratitude is teeny tiny, even if it's really hard to access what that gratitude is, having gratitude isn't a shame thing. Like, you should feel gratitude. And it took me a long time to even be able to say that word, gratitude, because I thought, don't tell me I don't want that. That's like, I was told I was ungrateful all the time. So, it took a while to be able to say that, but it's not that. Gratitude is simply acknowledgement of something, of anything that you have a feeling of, gratefulness for, right? That you're glad happened, that you're glad exists, that you're aware of its greatness, or you're aware of its beauty, or it's an awareness. So again, mindfulness is awareness. Gratitude is awareness. You see what I'm getting at? We lose awareness of ourself. We lose awareness of our connection to self when we numb up. So finding places to be aware of yourself. Okay. Ask yourself about reaching out. I said that. Well, we kind of did this when Frankendahl was talking, but try to find 3 to 5 positive things in your day. Okay. At the same time as you are paying attention to your feelings, just seek them out. Seek out the positive. No one can take from you the moment that you have the feeling of happiness or joy. In that, I know a lot of us fear that the other shoe is going to drop if they feel anything positive. And so why feel anything at all? Because I don't want to feel the negative. And so then you're numb. You have to sort of trust that in this moment, I am super happy about remembering something that made me happy, whatever. And no one can take that. That's okay. Even if in 5 seconds it goes away, it doesn't matter. I feel it now, right? I'm present to right now and I feel it right now. And good. All right. So, okay. Gratitude is an excellent way to experience mindfulness. And I want to say also with gratitude and mindfulness, I learned recently this summer that, yes, Belle, that's who. Not everyone will kill your joy. Those that do identify with themselves as no joy allowed people, avoid them. That's right. Sharing joy with narcissists equals pearls to swine. Do not share your joy with people who will take it and you know they will. Don't. If you live in a toxic situation, your joy is yours. You get to hold it inside as a happy place inside you, and you get to have that feeling. You don't share it with them because they're going to tear it down. So correct. Don't share your joy. Talking about on a different topic though, with just you and yourself, being aware of it is important. Okay. What am I missing here? If I missed something, can you please repeat it? Because there's a lot of chat, which I love, but I get lost. This is beside the point. No details. Just wondering if you heard from Iraq. I have not heard from Iraq. Has anyone? I have not. So if you're hearing this, check in. All right. Okay. So thank goodness I'm not so numb. I cannot still feel the joy. Good. I'm glad. And sometimes, yeah. Okay. I'm not going to put words there. Okay. So another way to find your sense of emotional feelings, to come into awareness and contact with your feelings, is having creative expression. So you may not know what you feel. You may not know how to have words for it. You just are it's kind of confusing when you're numb. Like you know there's something there. It's sort of this underlying agitation or underlying negative, sort of empty, weird feeling, right? When you're kind of numbed up, and it's that there's more. And you just can't access it. Creative expression. Find a way to dance it out, draw it out, paint it out. You don't have to be good at any of these things. I'm not saying go become a, performer or an artist. Just use your body and yourself and your expression to creatively express your emotions. I can tell you right now, you're already doing it. You're walking around in a body that's already expressing your feelings. I can read it on people. I don't know what they're feeling. I'm not a mind reader, right? But I can see feelings on people's postures and in their body language and in their facial expressions. And I don't know what those are. I'm not going to put words in their mouth. But when someone's talking to me, I have a sense of them based on that. That is a creative expression, right? So if to do it intentionally or to do it, you can take a dance class, say, and follow a form that's being taught to you. Just through expressing differently, things come up, okay? And emotions start to stir. So it's not that you have to be like, this is my anger dance or whatever, you can do that too. But if you don't know what you're feeling and you're numb and you go do something that is creatively expressive, painting, drawing, sculpting, dancing, anything, singing, you're opening up your emotional world when you're doing things like that. And if you are open to it, you can, no, don't bark. If you're open to it, you can start to, you might start feeling, okay? Or you might start having different access to feelings. All right. I don't know what I was talking about. was a minute ago. Fill the holes in your own soul, fill your empty vessel from what the narcissists have drained you of. That's right. Lots of love here for Iraq. Hopefully he gets a chance to see this and reads the chat. All right. Never share your good with a narcissist. Good. I'm glad that's written as a reminder in capitals to yourself. Okay. What else? Okay, anything else regarding creative expression that you guys want to talk about? Anyone try it and has had any stories to share about that? Otherwise, learning grounding techniques, learning ways to become present. A lot of times what comes with this emotional numbness is also a lack, a dissociative feeling and a lack of being present to the moment. So things that bring you into your body, noticing your breathing, noticing the way your body, your clothing feels hanging on your body, noticing the way your feet feel on the ground, things like that. Coming back into the room that you're in or the place that you're in, counting 5 green things or 6 round things or whatever it is, finding things to bring you into the room instead of the spaced out, checked out feeling from, that the just lost feeling, right? It brings you back into the moment and into the place that you're in, which is this moment in time, to do that. And so learning grounding techniques and actually using them frequently in order to get present to the moment. Then when you have a feeling, you're actually there for it instead of being so spaced out you can't even feel it. All right. Well, you're already having a feeling. You're having a feeling all the time. So you just may not be aware of what that feeling is, and that's okay. All right. Art is your savior. You're afraid of attracting attention of the folk who will cause me hardship again. Well, that makes sense. And so it's learning to trust yourself that you can set boundaries and you can select and choose people to be around you and in your life that you can trust, because you express here. So that's good. You're not expressing. We don't see your exuberance because it's chat, right? But, okay. All right. All right. Anything else? Okay, let's see. So when you are feeling emotionally numb, sometimes writing about it can help. That sounds weird because how do you write about what you don't know what it is? Well, maybe you can tell a story to yourself in writing about what someone might feel in certain situations and create it and see what an emotionally rich life can look like from your own creative imagination. That's another form of creativity, is writing and journaling. Okay. What else? Doing positive things anyway. Like I said earlier, go out and seek it. Go out and do it. Go find something that you would enjoy. Like if you know you like ceramics, go take a ceramic class. Even if you feel kind of numb while you're doing it, try to engage and be present to the moment and see where in that experience you have moments of joy. You don't have to be elated the whole time. Just wake up bit by bit to the feelings of happiness again and try to reconnect with things that make you happy. All right. And it's not just the happy feelings. We have to be able to process and feel the darker ones too, right? Like Frankendahl, don't be afraid of crying or don't be worried about crying today. Let it happen. Feel it, process it, let it move through you. And you don't have to get stuck there. You won't get stuck there, because you're going to go out looking for joy too. And you'll have both, and then you'll have your own back. You'll be doing self-care while you're doing the really hard work of self-care, which is letting yourself grieve, right? It's interesting because we get so afraid of feeling, well, not even afraid. We get so good at knowing we don't have to feel those negative feelings, right? That we can just shut it out and block it all. That then we lose out on life. And it's holding both, I think, that helps. Okay. I'm not very good at keeping myself safe and holding on to my word or truth, like when at work or around family. I've been 50 years conditioning. Then that's where you practice, right? This is where you practice trusting yourself and keeping yourself safe and figuring out where you are, where the holes are, right? So you can patch them up. Okay. All right. I have one more thing here. Well, and that is when you're stressed. Oh, changing your negative. This is important. I have a couple. Changing the negative thoughts. They're keeping you stuck, right? You may not have a feeling except the one feeling. Sometimes numbness comes in, I only feel one thing at a time. That's kind of how I was, one thing at a time. And I couldn't access the spectrum, the full spectrum of what I was feeling. I still can't access the full spectrum, but I access a larger spectrum, let's put it that way, of what I was feeling. And so I'd get stuck on the negative things or the bigger, louder feelings, whatever they were. And does that make sense? And a lot of times those are lies. Okay. If you have especially from the programming. So it's just looking at Jax, I'm not good at keeping myself safe. Well, I can see going off on a tailspin personally with that one because I'm not very good at yet is self-limiting, right? I'm working on keeping myself safe is a more positive way to word it. Or as I keep myself safe, I notice when things happen and I have to re-engage with keeping myself safe. It's not that you're going to be like safe as a thing and you're going to be in this safe thing and you're going to go through life and it's nothing's going to question or threaten or, there's always the variables and there's always the people pulling and the negative things that could happen. So safety is, it's the experience of having the thing threaten or whatever and learning to negotiate it within yourself and then re-engaging and realizing, okay, I kept myself safe there and noticing when you do keep yourself safe. So does that make sense? Like if we keep stuck on the negative patterns of thought, then that becomes the only thing we feel. So, okay. What else? Increasing your fun. We talked about that. And I know I keep talking about bringing in the positive feelings, but the darker and the harder feelings are super important when you're healing. They're there. You had them. You had to process them. They come out. People heal in cycles. And when you start to feel a lot, you're actually doing pretty good because you are not numb, right? And it doesn't feel good to begin with. And that's okay because you're feeling, yay. But you got to process the stuff that happened and it comes out. That's why it's important. That's why I'm stressing the positive, because if you can increase the fun, increase the amount that you are able to access finding joy. Like if you know how to find joy, I know how, like there's a few ways I know how to get in my happy place, so to speak, right? It may not feel elated and excited every single time, but I know that those things can pull me back up. Then when I'm processing something dark and less pleasant, then there is balance. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. What are we saying? What's a hoot? I missed it. The long conditioning is brutal, like a change of heart, renewing in the mind, a whole new paradigm for living and awakening. It is. And I want to talk soon about creating a new template for what love looks like. So if anyone has ideas on that, email me or leave it in a comment of a video or something, because I think that's important too. It's the same as what we're talking about here, but it's a template for, the whole situation. All right. Oh, good. I'm glad you feel better today. I have gratitude for all of you as well. Can I talk about feeling grounded versus feeling numb balance? Grounded as the safe place between highs and lows. I think grounded is being present to the highs and lows. So they may still be there, but noticing them is what makes me feel grounded. I can feel completely Like when I was talking about it, I was so giddy and so excited. I was not acting grounded, but part of me was laughing on the inside going, whoa, girl. That's pretty funny. Look at you. Yeah, you're enjoying yourself. That's cool. So it's like I was still present in the room. I can recall it. I can remember it. I wasn't so lost in the experience. And the same with negative lows, the negative swing, not being so lost to it that you're just gone. Because staying present to the moment, having mindfulness in the moment, having gratitude for the moment. If you're in a negative situation, it's really hard to find gratitude for that moment. You can feel gratitude for the fact that you're actually able to witness it and move through it, and then knowing that it's going to go away, because nothing stays the same, right? And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm not answering that question. I don't know. Bonnie, is that saying something? And what did you say, Bonnie? You call them the Golden Girls? I call everyone the Golden Girls too. Where are my Golden Girls? I give up on men. Where are the Golden Girls? Not I give up on men as friends, but relationships. Another story for another day. Okay. Okay. All right. What am I missing? I'm lost in the chat. I'm going to stop not reading it because I don't know what we're talking about. Last thing, I'm just going to put it out there. Avoid substance abuse. Avoid substance use if you're numb, if you can. Substance meaning anything that's numbing. Remember that alcohol is numbing and it's a depressant. Remembering that, people do what they got to do to cope, right? And I can't tell you what to do with your life. But if you are really trying to awaken your emotional life, numbing yourself up regularly isn't going to get you there. So there's that. Okay, I'm not talking about pharmaceutical prescribed medication that is used to help you re-regulate your brain chemistry. That's different, and it's prescribed, and it's hopefully monitored, and you are also doing this work like we talked about earlier. So I'm talking about really alcohol and street drugs, right? Watch it. Watch the substances. You're going off all substances this weekend. Oh boy. Well, we'll be here. Okay. And yeah. Okay. Anything else, you guys, that you can think of to help with emotional numbness, or anything else you want to talk about with it? If not, I think we've been on an hour. We should probably get off and let you guys go on with your day. And I have grouped in 10 minutes. Oops, time to go. Okay. So group coaching's going on. If anyone is interested in that, it starts in 10 minutes actually, but it's ongoing. So there's that. If you need help with anything, head over to queenbeing.com. Lots of information, obviously, and lots of help and everything over there, all the resources, peer support, access, all of that over there. If you need coaching help, check out the links in the main description of every video. There is a link to my coaching. Remember, it's 35% off one-on-one coaching till January 1st. So if anyone needs it through the holidays, it's there. And that's it. Anything else? If you want to hit subscribe if you've not done so, and hit the thumbs up if you like this. And I think that's it. Thank you. I'll see you guys next week. Next week is a holiday. Let's do something for Thanksgiving. Yeah? Do something. I'll announce it Monday. We'll figure it out. All right. We will see you soon. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Take care and go feel your feelings. And you got your own back, right? Be there for yourself. All right. Your nightmares are starting to go away. Excellent. Write those down and use them. Learn from what you're learning about what you're healing. A lot of times, I want to talk about nightmares so much, but I need like actual ones to go through so I can dig my brain into. Anyway, write them down, because sometimes when you have a nightmare, it's actually telling you the stuff you've healed. Somebody was telling me about a nightmare where they threw their narcissist out of a car in their dream. They're just like so frantic because he was trying to get at them into the car, right? And he was trying to get at them. And he was like getting in their car. And, and I thought, Well, a car is in your dream symbol is control, the control you have in your life. If you're the one driving the car, that means you're in control. He's trying to bust into your control space and you pushed him out. That's not a nightmare, my friend. That's a success, right? You see? Anyway, I could talk dreams for hours too. Anyway, okay, it was cool. Okay, I think we're done. All right, you guys take care. I'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.